FuReel is about passion, it's about culture. It's not just about sharing a Chinese martial art, but it's about sharing the light at the end of my tunnel, and maybe this could be the light at the end of your tunnel, or you can just enjoy some really cool content, and this is FuReel. Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of the FuReel Podcast. On the podcast, we talk about what we experience whilst we're practicing and teaching Kung Fu Tai Chi and how it benefits our lives and the three parts that make us whole: the mind, the body, the spirit. Here, normally next to me, is Sifu Guansu, master and founder of Jhung Academy, aka my Faja. My name is Jhung, the voice you're hearing, and I'm a senior instructor at the Jhung Academy. So whilst you're listening, if you have any questions or wonderings for the podcast, you can send them to our email address, which is FuReel@jingmo.com.au, FUREL@GINGMO.com.au. Okay, so this episode's going to be a little bit different. Let me set the scene. We're in the middle of our 2020 Chinese New Year lion dance season. That's lion as in the animal, Lion. We are performing all over Perth, and my responsibility is to organise the team, organise performances, talk about the logistics, and perform myself. So because FuReel is about being real and raw, if you guys have watched my vlogs, you know that I share rawly, if that's a word, my reflections with my daily practice and stuff like that. I wanted to, talk about what I'm going through right now. And if I was to check in with myself, which I will, mind, body, spirit, my mental self feels like my mind's pretty cluttered. I'm sure you guys have experienced the same thing. Mine's pretty cluttered with all these logistics and line dances and stuff like that right now. And I don't feel like I have the mental space or capacity to actually record a full episode of the podcast. My body, I am sustaining as best I can a energy-full body, actually an energized body, that's the right English, isn't it? And the spirit, my emotional self, I'm stretched, I'm stressed, I'm tired, I am happy, I'm excited, I'm glad, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, I'm feeling a lot of things right now, and I'm processing them through my practice, my daily practice. But what we have for you for this episode is a snippet from this morning's 6 a.m. Jhung Academy Kung Fu and Tai Chi class. I was training, Dad was teaching, Sifu was teaching, and at the end he shared some of his reflections pretty much around daily practice, and are we distracting ourselves, or are we processing what we're going through or dealing with at a specific time in our day or lives? I got a lot from it because I'm going through some stuff right now with the line dance season. It's very stressful, and I hope you enjoy and get something out of this snippet as well. But we'll be back next week with a regular episode of the podcast, and I hope to hear and see you then. But until then, enjoy this snippet, and thanks for understanding. Sorry, Nick, have you?
I guess I'm just still
fresh
getting into things.
Yeah.
And, I'm finding my hands are a bit sore, but it's probably just normal, I suppose. It's the first time. So,
yeah, of course.
Just trying to remember everything.
Okay, try not to remember everything. No, serious. Yeah.
Just like empty your mind type of thing. Is that what you mean?
Kind of. So as I'm listening to all of you, I'm thinking, what can I hear in everything that you're sharing, and how can I add value for all of us here from my experience? And there's a couple of things. The first one that comes into my mind is attachment to getting it right, attachment to remembering stuff, attachment to feeling mad, sad and scared, attachment to fixing a problem, all these attachment to why my feet and knees sore, all of this stuff. And when I say don't try to remember, it's no different to don't try to be powerful.
So it's not that we will forget. It's not that we don't value if I don't care. I'm not saying be apathetic and don't care. What I'm saying is, in my experience, when I get stuck because I have this conscious impression in my head around what it should look like. Like, I'm being made redundant, but I'm too busy to be redundant. So what the hell is going on, right? If life just got out of the way, I'd be able to enjoy the things that I enjoy rather than having to do all of the things that other people expect me to do. When I'm striking the pads, real simple one, right? When I'm striking the pads, I should move the pads in order to make it feel like I'm effective. I shouldn't be distracted by pains, aches and problems that I'm looking to solve. I should be present here in the moment and be free of all of those things, all that stuff. So I don't think anyone, I'll just speak for us for a moment. I don't think any of us here is an enlightened one, me included, right? I think we're just all regular guys, really. Just average, everyday human beings going about doing our thing, trying to be the best version of ourselves at any given time, honouring ourselves, okay, maybe looking at deeper understandings of these wonderful words that we get told or that we read or that we hear, and try to attach some meaning to it that is going to show that I give a shit. Basically, that I give a shit. That I am doing my best and I give a shit. I'm not just fart-assing around and walking through life looking after me, myself and I. Right? So we're all trying to do the same thing, whether it be here in training, waking up in the morning, trying to deal with logistics around line dancing for Chinese New Year, whatever it happens to be. So what do I get from all of this? When I hear the principle of turn every push into a pull, and this is something you guys will hear a bit later, I think of distraction. So am I using my practice as a way of distracting myself from the real problems of the world? That's a question I ask all the time. So what is the difference between burying myself in Facebook or TV or my practice? What is the difference? Well, for me, there's a big difference. I know when I'm going to distract myself, and I'll actually say it out loud to me. And I'll say, I'm just going to distract me for about 15 minutes, just so that I don't have to think about it anymore. What would I like to do? I'll check out what Peter McKinnon's doing on YouTube. Right? He's a YouTuber that I follow. All right, cool. I'll find, that one's just 13 minutes. I'll watch that one. Because I said 15 minutes. 13. That's nice. 6? No. I want 2 of those, so I'll go 13 minutes. And I'll be really clear and I'll go, right, I'm not going to do anything. I'll sit there and I'll just get distracted for 13 minutes. Then when it's finished, it's like, all right, I'm done. Back to the real world again. And off I go. So for me, that's the difference. When I'm in my practice, I'm processing. When I want to distract myself, I don't want to process anything. Does that make sense? So when we are in our practice, it makes perfect sense to me that when you're looking at something, right, and you're following certain principles and rules of practice, whether it be Kung Fu or Tai Chi, that foggy feeling starts to disappear. That vagueness that we sometimes feel ourselves will start to disappear. And it's not that I'm actually learning anything. It's not that I'm going to remember this halfway through at lunchtime today when I'm at work and think about, what did I do this morning? It was my first class. Shit, I can't remember a thing. Was that of value then? Well, the answer is yes. I say yes. Because the value is actually about how I center myself not about how many new techniques I've got. That's where I get my value from. So the practice is actually about pulling myself together into one place. I guess the what is it called? The fringe benefit, the net result of all of this practice is that I learn new stuff and I can do new things with my body, etc. Right? So that's a difference for me between distracting myself with something and processing and being present to myself with something. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah. So when I hear you talk about and share about the details, just allow yourself to view from a third person for a while and watch yourself as you go through this process. That's how I discover things about me, right? By standing away from me, looking at me do my stuff, and just observing how I interact with my experience of the world. And that's why we lose that vagueness. Well, that's what I think it is. Does it mean we're a better version of ourselves? No, it doesn't. Does it mean that we won't stuff up anymore? No, it doesn't. Does it mean we have the answers to solve all of our problems? No, it doesn't. And does it change anything that's happening outside? No, it doesn't. The only thing it does, and the most important thing, is that it gives us the opportunity to choose how we respond to things that are happening to us. So from a martial perspective, if someone says something to you that triggers you, the only thing you can control is how you respond to it. Doesn't matter what you say to them, say, don't speak like that. That's upsetting me. Can you change that differently? Well, no, don't even bother going there, because there's nothing I can do with this person on the outside. All I can do is govern the way I respond to something. And that doesn't mean shut my feelings down. It actually means be more aware, be more attuned to how I'm feeling according to what I am experiencing. And if I keep doing that, bouncing forward and back through my process, then I'm probably more likely to respond in a way that is less harmful to both me and the other person. And I say probably, because remember, we're not the enlightened ones. We're just your average everyday guy. So there are going to be times where we're not going to. And the way we respond will be harmful to at least ourselves, if not to the other. So we just keep working at it. That's why I say practice is daily. And there is no, like the cliche, there is no destination to this, there is only the process. That's it. Right? It is only the process. I'm not even going to ask you the questions on the tip of my tongue, because it may not. My question was, does that make sense? It may not. Okay, let's move on. Jules, please. Thank you.